Asander Rally of Canberra has become the premier rally of the East Coast. The 1994 rally marks a decade of support from Asander and to some degree the coming of age for the rally. This promised to be one of the most exciting Asanders ever, with a swag of Kiwis making the trip across the Tasman to challenge the locals. As well, the Asander is the final round of the Australian Championship, and a titanic three-way struggle was ensured for the national crown. Local Neil Bates, debuting his all-new Toyota Celica, was hoping to make it 2 championships in succession. Out to stop him were Newcastle's Michael Guest in his Mitsubishi Lancer, who led the championship going into the Asander, and the wily 5-times Australian champ Ross Duncan of Western Australia. The Asander enjoys the natural advantages on offer in the bush capital, with the millions of hectares of forest sitting on the edge of the city. The rally is compact yet as demanding as any international event. The rally covers a total of 23 special stages over 3 days, totaling almost 350 kilometres of competition through the forests of the Brindabellas. The Asander 1994 attracted the biggest field ever, with a 73-car entry lining up to tackle the rally. As well as being the final round of the Australian Championship, the Asander would decide the Tasman Cup, an annual championship fought out between Australia and New Zealand, and the final round of the Daihatsu Challenge. The 7-car Kiwi contingent was a strong one, with reigning national champ Joe McAndrew in his works-built Subaru Legacy. McAndrew's an exciting and spectacular driver, not afraid of throwing the car around. New Zealand's reigning Group N national champion Rhys Jones in his Mitsubishi Lancer joined McAndrew, along with 22-year-old South Island sensation Greg Graham in his Subaru Impreza, and Chris Joblin in his Falcon Tyres Mitsubishi Lancer. The field underwent scrutineering in the centre of Canberra, with thousands of lunchtime fans crowding for a view of the high-tech rally machines undergoing technical inspections. Every inch of the cars were covered to ensure that both safety and the eligibility requirements were met. The person with arguably the most difficult job at the Asander is Clyde Carstairs, Chief Scrutineer for the Australian Rally Championship.
The idea behind scrutineering is that we're checking the safety and eligibility of the cars. We need to make sure that the cars are safe for the competitors to use, not just from the competitors' point of view, but also to keep them out of the crowds and away from our officials. And we have to make sure that they're eligible for competition, that is, that they're eligible to run in the class that they're entered for. We're running several different classes here this weekend, and each class has its own special requirements, and we're here to make sure that the cars meet those requirements.
Once the scrutineering team had finished inspection, competitors drove away to finalise preparations for the next day. The Canberra Centre was again the scene for the start of the city's biggest motorsport event of the year. Ross Duncan had led the field away from the start, where lunchtime crowds turned out in their thousands. Local hero Neil Bates was next away, followed by Kiwi champ Joe McAndrew and Newcastle's Michael Guest. The battle for the Australian Championship was what most were captivated by, with Bates, Duncan and Guest all vying for the crown, with a fierce fight predicted on the closed forestry tracks. Once out in the forest, Bates soon took command in the new Toyota Celica, which was completed just 3 days before the rally start. After 3 stages, Bates had sprinted clear of Kiwi Joe McAndrew in his Subaru, who was in second, 6 seconds behind Bates, thanks mostly to some untidy driving on stage 2. But the Kiwi was attacking, throwing everything into the challenge on the slippery gravel roads. Duncan was taking it steady in 3rd place at the wheel of his older works Mitsubishi Galant, in the knowledge that his machinery couldn't match the pace of the newer and faster cars of the young chargers up front. Disaster struck for Guest on special stage 3, with his chances of an Australian title slipping away as he slid his Mitsubishi off the road and into a ditch. The mistake cost Guest over 12 minutes and almost certainly cost him his chances at the championship.
We just come around the corner and slid it a little bit wide and put a back wheel off the road and sucked it into him. a hole that was there, and we beached there for a fair while, and then luckily another competitor was good enough to pull us back out. We then had to change a front left puncher that we gained from our little excursion and followed someone else to dust out, and altogether 12 minutes. So things don't look real flash for tomorrow for us now, actually, so I don't know. I'd say,
So you're continuing on?
yeah, oh yeah, but yeah, it's not looking real good, put it that way, John, so we'll wait and see.
The dry Canberra forest saw the thousands of spectators bathed in dust as they watched the rapid rally cars battling the loose gravel and undulating country pine forests. Wayne Hoy, the Coffs Harbour banana farmer, in his striking Mitsubishi Glad was fourth, exactly a minute behind Duncan, while his Kiwi teammate Chris Joplin, also in a Mitsubishi, was fifth, 15 seconds behind Hoy. With just 4 short, sharp special stages totalling 40 kilometres, Bates would go to the end of the leg with an 8-second lead over McAndrew. Despite the unfamiliar territory, McAndrew looked right at home, charging through the Canberra stages. Ross Duncan was just 1 second behind in third. With the prospect of the longest and hardest day of the rally coming up, the Asander had only just begun.
The car's gone pretty well today, but I'm still not 100% happy with the handling, and I think there's a long way to go. I think it'll be a quick car when it's sorted out.
I'm pretty happy with today. The roads are still taking a bit of getting used to, and yeah, no, there's pretty hot pace out there.
Great, yeah, we've lying in fifth position after the first day, and that's exactly where we wanted to be, so it's turned out good.
We had a couple of slow stages early on. We were catching the guy in front of us. We're sort of catching him 40-50 seconds a stage, so we got a lot of dust. Then he was good enough to leave us in front of him, so from then on, yeah, no worries.
Today's stages have only been sort of 8-10 kilometres maximum. While we're getting a bit of dust from the car in front, it's not bad. It's not slowing us down. But tomorrow, being fifth, we'll have a 2-minute gap on the road, so in the longer stages, it should be okay for us.
Day 2 saw drivers face a tough round of competition. 14 special stages totaling 230 kilometres, timed to the second. At the head of the field, Canberra driver Neil Bates was car 1 on the road, thanks to his new Toyota Celica and some spectacular driving. For the first couple of stages, he was able to hold on to his 8-second lead, but then a problem struck, with the Celica losing second gear.
Well, it looks like second gear stripped in the gearbox, which is going to cause a bit of a drama, especially on the tight roads. But we'll just have to continue on with first and third and try and get around the tight corners.
The problem cost Bates time and put Kiwi Joe McAndrew in the Subaru into the lead. McAndrew was pushing hard, and even the occasional mistake didn't prevent him from powering into the lead. Bates' troubles didn't stop him from flying his Celica over Pierce's humps, landing with a perfect 4-point touchdown. McAndrew's lead was short-lived, however, as he tried to show the Kiwis can fly. The landing was hard for the Subaru, and despite continuing in the lead, the Subaru's front wheel hubs collapsed just a few stages later.
As we serviced, we found out the play was there. We says, right, there's only short stages, you know, for about 3 or 4 of them. We'll have a go at them, but driving down the road, things started to grind and just wasn't feeling nice. So without risking the car and damage and our health, we thought, right, we've just got to pull out. It's just been unbelievable. It's never happened like that before. We've done, you know, all-nighters and days, even the whole international one, sets of bearings over at home, and it just hasn't happened like that, so we're very disappointed.
Kiwi Greg Graham was showing his immense talent, pushing the Group N Subaru Impreza to 5th outright, with the most spectacular performance of the stage at the humps. For backmarker Scott Gurney of Canberra, the end to his rally came suddenly when he landed the Datsun 1200 badly, rolling the car off the road. The little Datsun went on a roller coaster ride, putting the young driver off the road but unharmed. With McAndrew out of the rally, Bates had Duncan breathing down his neck in the Mitsubishi. Duncan also had gearbox problems early in the day, but once his crew had fixed them, the West Australian veteran attacked Bates, grabbing the lead back on the 4th stage. Bates battled on, pushing the Celica hard all the way, his hopes of a championship win staying alive. The battle raged on throughout the day. The Kiwis, without their flag-carrying McAndrew, were now battling for the Group N category. Rhys Jones was in 3rd outright and leading Group N with some neat and tidy driving. Graham plotted his copybook in the Subaru, rolling on stage 5 of the day, losing very little time and continuing in 5th place with the badly battered car. Even wily veteran Duncan could not believe the continually changing complexion of the rally.
It's up and down all over the place as far as Neil and the New Zealanders. It's certainly Russian roulette as far as this rally is concerned.
You've had a few problems yourself this today?
Yeah, we have various things that we're having. We're running very low on tyres at this stage of the game, but plus various things and spins and that sort of stuff. We got stuck off the road this morning where I thought we would stay for the rest of the event, but my big fat navigator got out and pushed us back on the road again.
The other contender for the title, Michael Guest, continued to have problems. The Newcastle driver was attempting to climb back from 54th place, but the strain of playing catch-up was bringing on some uncharacteristic mistakes. Guest hit a tree on the 4th stage of the day, leaving his Mitsubishi Lancer battered but still going. Guest was in 17th spot and almost 14 minutes behind the leaders. But even if he failed to finish, his lead in the series could deliver him the championship if Bates retired. Duncan still had the edge, confidently tackling the roads on which he'd won 3 previous Asanda rallies. On the legendary mine shaft, Duncan leapt the Mitsubishi over the edge and charged down the mountain. Late in the day, Bates thought the X-Track gearbox would cry enough, but his crew managed to make some frantic running repairs, getting him to the last stage, where he set the fastest time. Duncan finished the day 48 seconds ahead in a rally which changed from moment to moment. With the longest leg out of the way, there was still tomorrow to think about. Still another 100 kilometres of competition ahead, and the Australian Championship still in the balance. It was now a question of survival. After 3 days of tough rallying, the Asanda Rally of Canberra came down to a test of mechanical sympathy as much as a test of driving skill. Neil Bates was nursing a sick Celica with a broken second gear, forcing him to take it easy. Ross Duncan had hold of the lead, and without the Celica to pressure him, he took a relaxed approach to the last 6 stages. Overnight rain had turned the Canberra forestry tracks into skating rinks, transforming the dust to mud and the grip to slip. Local driver Graham Vaughan had grafted his way into 5th place with a consistent performance which could not be spoiled even by a spin in the mud. Guest was still having trouble in the Mitsubishi, trailing his rear bumper through the forest after clipping the scenery. This was rapidly becoming a rally he would rather forget. West Australian Bob Nicolai had a very scary moment when his Daihatsu Charade tripped and fell in spectacular style. With the help of some onlookers, Nikolai had the lightweight Daihatsu Charade back on its wheels again, belching smoke but able to continue. Michael Guest battled on through the last day, climbing as high as 11th, after his early problems on Friday had him as low as 54th. His bad luck continued, however, with the Mitsubishi Lancer dropping a valve just 3 stages from home, putting him out of the rally.
The first stage this morning wasn't too bad. It was pretty slippery, but we managed to put in a pretty reasonable time. And then the second stage this morning, the car's actually damaged an exhaust valve, or burned an exhaust valve through the fact that we had a broken exhaust. So it's really not any point to keep driving on. We drove the last 30 kilometres on 3 cylinders, and if we continue on that way, the valve could actually drop on top of the piston and destroy the engine. More money, so we've decided to abandon the attempt, but not without trying. I think we persisted the whole way, but it just wasn't our rally. Unfortunately, you get those, and we've had a good year. We won 5 rallies this year, and we won the state championship. And, we've done well for a private team, so that's the end of our season, unfortunately, so I'll wait and see what happens next year.
A battle for the Group N production car class developed between the Mitsubishi Lancer of Kiwi champ Rhys Jones and the badly battered Subaru Impreza of fellow countryman Greg Graham. But then drama for the leading Kiwi, with Jones suffering a puncture just 3 stages from the end, losing almost 6 minutes and dropping him to 5th and 2nd in Group N behind Graham's Subaru. Vaughan moved his Mitsubishi Galant up to 4th place. But it was at the head of the field that all the attention was focused, with Duncan and Bates urging their machines to the finish. In the end, Duncan crossed the line 4 minutes and 15 seconds ahead of Bates, in a rally which saw 8 changes of lead in 23 stages and 350 kilometres of competition. It was Duncan's 4th win in the Asanda Rally and his last drive with the Mitsubishi Works team.
It was more pleasing also to drive the old car that's done so much for me. I've won 2 Australian Pacific Championships in the old VR4, and she didn't let me down in this event.
I've never seen Ross so relaxed in the few years that I've been rallying with him. He's thoroughly enjoyed himself, and he drove extremely well. And there's a lot of life left in him yet.
Bates' 2nd place was enough to net him his 2nd consecutive Australian Championship with co-driver Coral Taylor.
Well, Neil, a 2nd Australian Championship. Did you expect to come out with that after this dramatic rally?
Well, obviously before the event, that's what we aimed at, set out to do, but there was a couple of times during the event that we probably didn't think it would happen, but the boys worked extremely hard and kept the car going, and we got there. We're wrapped.
I mean, I actually tried to always keep a very positive attitude during the event, but I must admit the doubts crept in a few times, but here we are.
The actual car itself was fine. The only problems we really had was with the transmission, which isn't new. It was probably the only thing in the car that wasn't new, so it was just one of those things. We've never had transmission problems before, and it just lost 2nd gear, and so we did most of the event without 2nd gear.
The Asanda Rally of 1994 will go down as one of the great rallies, an event that required tactics and intelligent driving over a demanding course. It was also the year of the Kiwi invasion, which will be welcomed back in years to come.